So how do we get the whey out? We just cut to stop the fat from forming or curding. And then we'll use our cheesecloth. And this is a strainer. It will help us get all the liquid out so that we don't lose the other 10% that we are trying to save. So basically, Brown's Cheese was started in 1979 by a couple, Susan and David, and this was out of love for good food and an availability for cheese. Most of the time they'll travel, they're not able to bring cheese back in the country because Kenya had banned cheese importation. The only company that was making cheese made orange cheddar. So you can imagine enjoying your brie, your camembert, and you're not able to bring it back here. So they just said, okay, Sue said one day, let's try making some cheese. And it went through well. They started with a brie cheese and it turned very well. You can tell it's a bit cooler up here with 7,200 feet above sea level. It made it very conducive for cheese making. So from just brie, everyone wanted to make to get cheese from here. Once you invite people, have lots of nice food, it's not enough. What do? Go back to the kitchen. So the neighbors and the family loved their cheeses or whatever they were making at that particular moment, the brand that they were making at that particular moment, and they just said, okay, let's scale it up. So now from just brie, we make over 32 varieties of cheese under every category, from softer cheese like fresh and soft cheese. We also have camemberts, the brie. We also have the hard cheeses, and we also make other products. So when I came in here, it was around 6 years ago. We've really grown because it was just Brown's Cheese. Now we're Brown's Food Company. We have Delia's ice cream. Way the amazing ice cream is one of the best ice cream you can get in the market, and this is named after the daughter of Susan and David, and her name is Delia, and she's the one who takes taking care of the company. So we collect quite lots of milk in the morning, 40,000 liters of milk. We work with around 3,800 farmers. Yeah, 40,000 liters, yes. All the milk comes in here every morning. To get quality milk, we make quality cheese. We check on aflatoxin, antibiotics, watering in milk, as well as the behavior to state the milk is fresh. So when all that is done, we also have a micro lab. Each and every churn that comes in here, all the samples are taken to the lab. So that as the process is ongoing, the samples are being analyzed in the lab, just in case something was missed there or the milk was not handled properly. We don't stop at that. We fully pasteurize our milk to 72 degrees Celsius, then we'll cool it down before we start making the cheese. So this milk is channeled into different departments depending on what type of cheese they'll be making at that particular time. Well, because way long they didn't have lots of cows, so they just decided, okay, if you're making lots of cheese, then definitely we need farmers. So it was a word out. They came out of here, they went to meet the farmers personally, and that's how the relationship has been built for 40 plus years. So we work through cooperatives. This is how it helps us get the milk from the farmer cooperative, and then they bring it here. It also, working through the cooperatives helps us able to channel the payment to the farmer easily. And they're small scale farmers, so this milk is quality. This is their source of livelihood, so it means they're so much dependent on these cows so that they get an income out of that. So definitely we get very good milk out of our farmers. We also pay them well. Before Purity gets her salary, we take care of the farmer. Yes. 22 degrees is the best degrees you can heat the milk. Actually, it's more like heating the milk, so that you kill all the microbes in the milk at 72 degrees, but you don't kill the nutrients. Not boiling at 100 degrees. The moment we pasteurize, we kill the lactobacillus, which helps in fermentation. So that's why we also make our own culture that we'll add into the milk to start the fermentation process. Yes.
Interesting.
So if you have your cows, you can make unpasteurized cheese from unpasteurized milk. Yes, because you're so sure of what you're feeding. That's exactly what we tell our farmers. If you can't drink milk coming from your own cows and pasteurize, then you're not taking care of your cows. Because you deworm, antibiotics, you don't take milk when you've already treated your cow, and also like aflatoxin, you have to know where your feeds is coming from. Yes, and these mostly commonly found in milk is aflatoxin M1, which is huge in cancer as well. So all right, we are fully certified organic farm. We are halal certified as well. We are ISO 22000 certified. Yes. So this is our milk that comes from our own cows from here. We feed it, the cow signal, we feed the cows properly. We take care of the cows as well, and we just feed them on organic feeds. Maximum of 500 liters. Yes, like 10 chans. 500 liters per day. A cow will give you a maximum of 25 in the morning. Like a high yielder will give you almost 30 liters in the morning, and in the evening probably 16, 14 and 13 liters. Yes. Cheese made from Browns, here at Browns, is of high quality and healthy for everyone. So basically we're so authentic. That's why we've opened this up to all our customers. Come see, it's all about transparency and quality. Yes. Well, so once we get our milk fully pasteurized, we cool it down. It's weird. 72, cool it down again to almost 34 degrees Celsius, and then you have to warm it up again. Why? It's because now we've already have our milk here. The reason why we have to cool it down and then we warm it up again is because when you add in the culture,
you don't want to kill the culture.
You don't want to kill the culture, because 50, 60 degrees Celsius, it will be very high for the culture. Then you don't want to kill it again. Relatively, we warm it back to 34, 37 degrees Celsius. So that's the culture. Just take that round, small like a lala, yeah. Yes, for some Greek yogurt. So immediately we've added in the culture. It's feeding on the sugar that is found in milk. You know what it's called?
Lactose.
Lactose, yes. So immediately it's converting lactose into lactic acid, and this lowers the pH of the milk. So that's why at the end of every cheese making, they have to keep on controlling the pH and temperature so that they get it right for that particular cheese that they are making. pH is very, very important when you're making the cheese, so that it's not too acidic, so that it doesn't become bitter. All our cheese are fit for vegetarians because we do not use animal rennet in making our cheese. This is a rennet. It's an enzyme microbically made in a lab from edible mushrooms. That's what makes it fit for
vegetarian version.
There is now. So anyone who's asking, I'm not taking Brown's cheese, I'm not so sure if it's vegetarian or not, it's made from vegetarian rennets.
So do you add the rennet to every cheese you make?
Not necessarily. If even at home you don't have my rennet, you can use lemon juice, citric acid, or vinegar. And And surprisingly, if you have your fresh milk and you take the pepper, the red chili pili pili, yes, and you put it in milk, tomorrow you'll find it coagulated. Yes, pili pili. It doesn't. Yeah. You don't break the pili pili. You just put it as whole as it is. Yes. Diluted.
Asking if it affects the taste.
It doesn't at all. This will be such a fast reaction. But in the factory, it takes an average of half an hour to 1 hour until you coagulate the cheese. Because remember, they're warming and stirring so that they get the average thickness or the temperature. You can see. So when you're making cheese, there are two products we get out of that: the curds and the whey. The whey is the liquid. The curds what we'll use for cheese making. In proper cheese making, 10% is the yield and 90% is what goes to waste. So out of our 40,000 liters of milk, we only make 4,000 kilograms of cheese. The rest is the whey. We also reuse the halloumi cheese that you had. When we make the halloumi, we recook the whey. We make some cheese called ricotta out of it. Yes, so it's low-fat ricotta, yes. And this same whey is what is converted into the whey protein powder and also put into infant formula milk, the NAN, and also therapeutic food in hospitals for patients especially who are recuperating. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So how do we get the whey out? We just cut to stop the fat from forming or curding. And then we'll use our cheesecloth. And this is a strainer. It will help us get all the liquid out. Why 10% and 90%? It's because on normal milk, 80 to 83% is water. So there's no shortcut. Yeah. So that's our whey there. With thickened, I've added too much rennet, so it thickened. The amount of rennet, depending on the type of cheese that you're making, and depends. So if you want to thicken it and coagulate, you add a higher amount of the rennet, but if not too much, and that's mostly for harder cheese like cheddar, Gouda, and Parmesan. But for normal cheese like feta and like cream cheese, you're also able to use citric acid. Yes. We are natural cheese maker, so we do not. That means we do not add preservatives in our cheese. The only preservative we add is salt, as a flavorant and also as a preservative. We have two ways of salting the cheese. There's the brine, where we dip it in salt for a couple of days or weeks, and there's the dry salting, where we just apply on the cheese or also add it in the curd. A cheese called the mursik that was made from goats or sheep milk, and we added ash from acacia, the cassia, yes, the one that you,
wow, that's interesting.
You burn it and then you put it in the gourd. Yes, that's what we. Yes, that's what makes Kipchoge run very fast. Supposedly, you don't start making a mozzarella and then you decide, okay, I think I have enough, let's make cheddar. No, you start with mozzarella and you end it with mozzarella. Yes.
So you said what determines whether it's a mozzarella?
Mostly the technique that they use. Like for mozzarella, it's just the pH, the acidity content, and then you have to, like mozzarella, you get the curds, you have to heat them again and roll them over in the mozzarella stretching machine, so that is more permeable. Yeah, that's stretchy. Yes, the more chew and able to melt properly when you're baking or when you're making your pizza or your burgers. It never happens with cheddar. If you put the cheddar curd in there, it will not stretch as well as the mozzarella, just because of the stirring and heating of the milk as you're making it here, as well as the pH content. It's just a 0.3 or a 0.2 that makes the difference. Yes. And also of the acidity content.
Oh, the acidity, okay.
Yes. Blue cheese just goes through the cheese making method. However, we add in the penicillium roquefort, not the antibiotic. Okay. Yes. But anyone who's allergic to the antibiotic is able to eat the blue cheese, brie and camembert, because it's from the same family but a different species of the mold. Yes. For brie and camembert, we use Penicillium candidum, and that's what makes it more whiter and mushroomy. And it's from outside, it's more harder, but when it ripens, when you cut it, it's more creamy. So actually, cheese making is a technique. It's more of art and science. Yes. All right, so not so sure what kind of cheese I've made, but this is just a simple way of making your ricotta, your cottage cheese, or your mozzarella curd. And if you want to make it more drier, you just need to squeeze. Yes, mostly like for ricotta, you hang it overnight, the cream cheese as well, so that it's able to reduce the moisture. But for hard cheese like cheddar, Gouda, it goes through the pressing machine so that it removes more moisture, so that you can give it a longer shelf life. Yes. So once they get the cheddar curd, they shred it and they cut it into very tiny bits, and they add salt directly into it when they are cheddaring. That's what makes it a bit sharper, and also the pH. So as the cheddar ages, the more the color and the flavor intensifies. And what makes it totally different with Gouda is because when we get the Gouda curd, we rinse it off again in warm water. It helps to de-acidify the cheese. That's why the milder and very nutty as compared to cheddar, which is strong and sharp. Yes. Okay, the smoked, you can smoke the milk, or you smoke the liquid, maybe from mostly like bananas, and then the liquid you're able to add it into the milk. But mostly the best way is to smoke the milk and also smoke the cheese from outside. Yes. Most of the time, if you've now used and opened and maybe just used the liquid or poured it out, you can make your own saline or a small brine, and then you can add it into the bocconcinis, even feta as well. Most people say, oh, I opened my feta, it's now browning. It's because it's in salt and it was vacuum sealed. The moment you vacuum seal, you've immobilized bacteria and air from getting into the cheese, right? But the moment you open, because it was in there and it's a fresh and softer cheese, it doesn't get bad so fast because it has lots of salt, which is a preservative. So when you get your feta, you can also make a brine in a Tupperware, put it in and cover it. You can use it for another 3-4 days.
Water and a little bit of
salt, yes. And don't freeze your cheese.
Yeah.
Yes. If it's grated or shredded, you're able to freeze it, and then you can use it. Most of the frozen cheese are good for cooking. Yes, but if you're doing a cheese platter, best cheese served at room temperature and just chilled, 4 to 6 degrees Celsius. Yes, the normal fridge temperature. Yes.
All the way.
Yes. Yes, we make a cheese at home. If you're making your own small cheese, or you just separated and you gotten the way, it's very good. You can blend it with your favorite fruit and make a shake out of that. Yes. You can that maji, yes, from mursik. You can mix it with flour when you're making your dough. Mandazi, chapati is very good. And also if you have your flower garden, you can put a bit to that. And also, yeah, most of vegetables you can add into. It's very, very nutritious. Yes, if you drink it by itself, it's not that good, tasty, but it's most of those not tasty things are the most good for you. Yes, it's very rich in proteins. Yes.
So just a quick one. Okay, so now you're at home, you wanna make your cheese, but is any milk off the shelf going to do, or
Yes, it will.
any pasteurized milk from the supermarket?
Yes, now with the pasteurized milk, if you've made your own culture, you're able to add that in. If you don't have, you're able to buy our Greek yogurt, which is natural. Yes, then you can add that into your pasteurized milk already. Yes.
But like they don't bring it up to temperature like that.
Absolutely, yes.